and this is something that everyone's been looking forward to. There have now been a bunch of draft guidelines that have been put out for what flights could look like in the post-pandemic era. So when India starts opening up, the Ministry of Civil Aviation has put out some guidelines, and the last 3 rows will be kept vacant for isolation. There'll be a secondary temperature check by the airline at the boarding gate. You won't be given any meals, so if you have a 3-hour, 2-hour flight, that's something to think about. You won't be allowed to carry any check-in baggage. Water will be available in the gallery in cups and bottle. No CISF stamping of boarding passes. And at this moment, Ajay Singh joins us. Ajay Singh runs SpiceJet. He's been in constant dialogue with the government about what civil aviation norms will be. The draft guidelines being put out this evening by the Ministry of Civil Aviation. Can you give our viewers, Ajay, a sense of what to expect if I need to board a flight once they start in a couple of weeks from now? What should I expect if I'm flying SpiceJet?
Well, Rahul, firstly, I want to say that in our opinion, flying is probably the safest mode of public transport that you will find, far safer than, of course, going in buses or trains or metros and so on. It is a controlled environment. You are sitting in that controlled space, and you can do plenty to clean that space and plenty to make sure that people are following certain rules. I think what the government is trying to do is to gradually lift the ban that we have on flying, as a measure to get the economy going, people back to their homes, some business travel that needs to be done, but do it in a phased manner. So not to start all the flights all at once, but to do this really gradually. And with all the precautions that they can possibly take. And amongst those precautions, like you said, is temperature control. Look at passengers and see if check their temperature as they come into the airport. Ensure that everybody is wearing a face mask as soon as they step into the airport, and they keep that on right through the journey. Other measures like web check-in, which has been spoken about, that all the check-in will be through the internet. And so there won't be, hopefully, any queues at the check-in stations. That the baggage drop will be as digital as is possible. So a bunch of measures.
Well, one second. How do you digitalize the baggage drop? It sounds very fancy, but how does it happen? I mean, from what I know, somebody who goes, he picks up the baksa, he puts it on a carrier, and that's how it comes, and then a human being picks it up. So you're digitizing it how?
So what you would do is that at least the passenger, as he walks in, would drop the bag and be on his way. He would not hang around there in a line, interacting with other passengers, waiting for a receipt to be given to him. That receipt will now be transferred digitally to him, via an SMS or email, and that's it. So he just comes there, drops his bag, and goes. There is no weighing of the bag. There is no hanging around for getting a receipt. So that's something that we need to attempt, I think.
So how soon do you believe that the skies will open for domestic travel? Are you telling me that if the Prime Minister today announces that we are opening up the airlines, you are ready as of tomorrow morning?
Well, we are absolutely ready, Rajdeep. We have been working through some of these measures for a period of time. Of course, we do still need a bit of time to procure some of the safety equipment. For example, these face masks that will be given to passengers, and perhaps sanitizing fluid and perhaps a face shield. So I think airlines will be procuring that over the next few days. But certainly, if the Prime Minister was to ask or was to tell us that we need to start flights, we will probably be ready starting.
Why is hand luggage banned? I don't
starting Monday.
Starting Monday.
Starting Monday. So you're hoping that the Prime Minister will announce that from the 18th, we don't know whether he will announce or the Civil Aviation Minister will announce that from the 18th, now that you've got a Rajdhani between Bombay and Delhi, you're hoping that Mumbai, Delhi
but Rajdeep,
will have
there
a flight.
Few things we have to contest. One, Ajay says that flying in an airline is safe, but it's actually the same air. If I'm in a bus or in a car, I can roll down the windows and fresh air is coming in. This is the same air. So if somebody's sneezing, somebody has even if he's asymptomatic, he can spread it. Actually, being in a closed aircraft is not particularly safe, Ajay. I don't know how you're saying it's safer than other modes of transportation at this moment.
Rahul, this is a very common misconception. I don't blame you for having it. But you know what happens in an aircraft is that air is actually circulated from the roof to the floor, and it escapes through vents in the floor. So it doesn't really get circulated in the cabin. There are HEPA filters, which are the same filters which are used in hospitals to ensure that as the air passes through the floor, that air is thoroughly cleaned. So there is absolutely no chance of circulating air causing infection in an airplane. This is not something which exists in either a train or a bus or a metro. So both manufacturers for airlines, Boeing and Airbus, have the system installed on all aircraft already.
And lastly, before we let you go, what's the logic of not allowing people to carry hand baggage? How does that make things any safer or more unsafe?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that because from our last discussion, I guess the idea could be that people will stand in aisles and try and put those bags, in the cabins, in the boxes above. But in our view, you should allow one handbag.
Okay.
The government should allow one handbag. They have already restricted. I think they're talking about restricting the check-in luggage to one bag. I think they should allow the handbag.
For joining us on this very important story, which people were looking out for, on what new aviation norms would be, what to expect when you're flying next. Ajay Singh from SpiceJet, thank you very much. I deeply appreciate your